One last question, and then I will really end this, even though I don't want to, because we did say 90 minutes. Uh, you have like a fairly developed governance structure, and I'm curious about when that developed and if it developed in response to any sort of impetus in particular.
I think so basically, Phil has created like MultiQC, which is a Python package that Python tool. Yes, I'm bad with Python, so excuse me if I'm like not speaking the right term there. That basically collect all of the reports, all of the metrics that you could get outside of a tool, and generates for you a final report. That we will say a multi-QC report. It's one of the most common tool in bioinformatics because most of the tool produce metrics, and everyone is interested by seeing metrics to see how your experiment has gone. So the idea is fairly simple, fairly stupid, but super efficient because it works well. It's what everyone wants. So this tool has been one of the mainly used tool everywhere. And I think Phil has seen what happened with this particular project. And he decided that he did not want to be the main responsible for that. And at the very beginning, NF Core was created with a core team of administrator. I think the other team came in like tiny bit by tiny bit when they were needed, and yes, and we are still creating new team because we just created the team dedicated to documentation.
Um, when would you when would you say that change happened? Like what year?
About what the teams?
Yeah, I guess when you were talking about like when did the report start getting created and when did
Ah, oh no, so like you see, that was a previous project from Phil, so I think that started like many years ago. It's completely disconnected from NF Core. Like, it's not completely disconnected. It's like we use it as the final tool for most of our pipeline because most of the pipeline are using the tools that can be used to feed into MultiQC. So for us, we just use that as a final report that you will give to your user, or you will look yourself when you see, okay, this sequencing quality is good, or so on.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry. I think I misunderstood the
Yeah,
relevance.
what I was trying to say is that Phil had experiment with a previous project that he knew how hard it was to handle such a big project by himself. I think he knew that this project was going to be huge and decided right away at the beginning, okay, we are going to be like a team of people that work together and we can do stuff together. And we collaborate and we all take turn into doing things together.
I think it'd be interesting. I don't know if you have this, like some sort of like graph or map of like the number of participants, like over time. Because I think
I
it's
think we
relatively rare for project founders to have that level of insight around governance. I feel like the far more common model is someone, I guess, like Phil experienced with that first project of like taking on something by yourself and then being like, oh no, I'm burning out, or this is too much for me. And only then sort of trying to figure out a different governance
yeah,
structure.
so let me check. I know that a colleague of mine, we've been like really talking about that like at the last retreat that we had, and we've been working on some
I feel like you guys
we've
really
been
like
work
cool visualizations. So
yeah, we've been working on some visualization. So the visualization is still like we need to work more on the visualization. So let me try to share my screen one more time. Screen share. Okay. Yes. Oh, that's the one. Okay. So basically, we can see that people were like there were a couple of us at the beginning, and then this is how many we are at the moment, and some people join like for a smaller term, and yes, basically this is more or less what we know about the people that were part of the core team that administrate NF Core.
Cool. It seems like you had like a whole group of people to start with, and then a few successive waves of people coming in. And that
Mm.
overall you've grown, even though individual people have moved on.
Yeah, and some people moved on because they either like joined some other companies, they switched job, they changed completely. Like Kevin, for example, like switched fields completely, so he's no longer like working in bioinformatics. So that's why he's now an alumni. Johannes felt like this project was too big for him, so he didn't join. Andreas was one of the founders with Phil and Alex, but unfortunately he wasn't able like to continue forward with us, so he dropped pretty early. Yes, Alex left because it was too difficult for him with his new position.
Yeah, and I mean,
What?
all of those are pretty
Yeah,
normal reasons. And I think it's really great that you've set up a system and a community where any one person can take a step back if various life or career related reasons make it not a fit for them
yeah,
anymore. As opposed to there's so many
no, definitely.
projects that are so reliant on one person that that person feels that they need to continue, even if they personally, their needs and their desires no longer match up with the project. So I really appreciate your structure.
Yeah.